Many US cities are set up in a grid pattern, and Miami is no exception. But if you're new here, there may be some confusion that exists around the difference between, say, Northwest 3rd Avenue and Northwest 3rd Street, or Southwest 88th Street and Southeast 8th Avenue, and how Southeast 8th Avenue is the same thing as Northwest 42nd Avenue. I'm looking at you, Hialeah. How does one navigate the Magic City without getting too lost? What's good people? My name's Master Kayla. Let's get started. Hey, so I'm just getting started. Every like and comment helps, so if you would do me a favor, like the video. Also hit that subscribe button if you found this video useful so that like-minded viewers can also check out this content. Since all of Miami-Dade is set up on a grid pattern, almost all the roadways are either streets or avenues. There are some exceptions to this, like courts and lanes and places, but for the most part, avenues and streets are how people navigate in Miami-Dade County. By the way, I'm going to say roadway as opposed to simply roads because there are some roadways in Miami-Dade County that are actually listed as roads as opposed to streets or avenues. And I'll get into that a little bit later. So in Miami-Dade County, roadways that run north and south are known as avenues, and those that run east and west are called streets. So now that you've got that simple nomenclature down, a street versus an avenue, let's talk about the numbering system. As we get into the numbering system, it's important to understand two major roadways. There's Miami Avenue running north and south, and Flagler Street that runs east and west. Those two roadways meet in downtown Miami, and they set the origin for all of the numbering system in the entire county. So remember, avenues run north and south and streets east and west. That makes sense because that establishes a basic grid pattern, perpendicularly crossing roadways. The roadway numbering system is based on how many streets or avenues a particular roadway is from Miami Avenue or Flagler Street. So a roadway running north and south that is 7 avenues from Miami Avenue would be 7th Avenue. Likewise, a roadway running east and west that is, say, 15 of those roadways away from Flagler Street would be 15th Street. So this numbering system is used throughout the county. So say a roadway that's 200 streets from Flagler Street would be 200th Street. Likewise, for 17 roadways away from Miami Avenue going parallel to it north and south, that's 17th Avenue. So that's great that we understand avenues and streets. But what about these directions that are in front of it? You know, I see there's a northwest and a southwest 8th Avenue. I don't understand. Chill, just calm down a bit. Let's think about this. Remember Flagler Street and Miami Avenue and how those create the nexus, the origin for all of the roadways in Miami-Dade County. These also serve as the pinpoint of the directional axes as well in the entire county. That means that anything to the west of Miami Avenue but north of Flagler Street would be in the northwest quadrant. Likewise, anything south of Flagler Street but east of Miami Avenue would be in the southeast quadrant. So these quadrants make up the entirety of Miami-Dade County. A little bit confusing at first, I can understand, but if you just remember the quadrants, then that gives you a good idea of kind of where you are within the county. And you know, based on the intersection of Flagler Street and Miami Avenue, quadrants is a loose term. They're not equally sized. The southwest quadrant is the largest, followed by northwest and then northeast, and then finally southeast is the smallest of these quadrants in Miami-Dade County. All right, so time for some notable exceptions, and those are the roads or drives. And those are typically roads that run diagonally. In fact, there is a neighborhood called The Roads where all of the roadways that run from northwest to southeast are called roads. So you'll have 30th Road, 36th Road, and then going perpendicular to them are still avenues, but they're still on a rough grid pattern. For instance, Coral Way is Southwest 3rd Avenue running through the Roads neighborhood. US 27 follows the Miami Canal in the northwest quadrant, setting the southwest boundary for Hialeah, and it's called Okeechobee Road as it runs from roughly Lejeune Road, Northwest 42nd Avenue, all the way through much of the county before turning directly north. All right, US 1 is another exception to this grid rule. In the northeast part of the county, it's known as Biscayne Boulevard. And then as it goes through Brickell, it's known as Brickell Avenue. And then on the south end of downtown, it's just known as South Dixie Highway. It's one of the major thoroughfares through much of the southwest suburbs. And then Miami Beach, or really most of the barrier island, that's to the east of the mainland, has a rough grid pattern that is similar to what you'd see on the mainland, but none of the avenues have numerical names. They're all like Meridian, or Washington, or Collins Avenue, Washington Avenue. They do not have any numerical designations. One of Miami-Dade's oldest municipalities, Opa-locka, some of the city is not on a grid pattern, and a lot of the roads there have Arabic roots like Alibaba Avenue, Purvis Avenue. George Merrick's masterpiece, Coral Gable, largely ignores the grid entirely, instead opting for a strong Spanish heritage with roads like Alhambra Circle, Salcedo Road, Ponce de Leon Drive, and then many of the roads in Coral Gables just meander a whole lot. They're not really on the grid pattern. Toward the southern end of Miami-Dade County is Homestead, and they have their own grid pattern. And then there's Hialeah. Hialeah uses the county grid, but they also use an alternate numbering system. So the directional origin is Hialeah Drive, that moves east and west. I think that's Northwest 54th Street. And then Palm Avenue that runs north and south. Those are the two origin roadways. Anything west of Palm Avenue is designated west, and then anything east of it is east. But if it's east of Palm Avenue but south of Hialeah Drive, it gets a southeast designation. But there is no southwest, northeast, northwest. To make matters worse, sometimes there's the Miami-Dade designation as well as the Hialeah designation on the same street. Are you confused yet? All right, okay, let's just get away from the exceptions and let's just talk about the main roadways that are in Miami-Dade County. So Interstate 95, or I-95, or simply 95, is the OG expressway for Miami-Dade County. It's usually busy and there are signs everywhere. Pay attention and drive safely. US 1 is known by many different names depending on where you ride it. It is a major north-south thoroughfare through the county, and it is further east than I-95 until of course it meets up at the terminus of I-95 and continues southwest as South Dixie Highway. There's Florida State Road 826. It is the original Miami bypass route, and west of I-95 down to US 1, locals call this highway the Palmetto Expressway, or just the Palmetto. East of I-95, State Road 826 is a busy, non-grade separated commercial route that ends in Sunny Isles Beach, known as North Miami Beach Boulevard. Bisected by I-95, there's State Road 112, a toll road that runs to the west and is also named the Airport Expressway. And then to the east, this roadway is Interstate 195 and heads to Miami Beach. Further south, State Road 836 is known as the Dolphin Expressway, or just the Dolphin. It services the western suburbs and crosses Interstate 95 just north of downtown. East of this is I-395 and heads to the cruise ports and ultimately South Beach. State Road 874 connects the Palmetto to the Turnpike, nothing too special there. Interstate 75 terminates in Hialeah, but is a major thoroughfare for commuters out in western Broward County. There's the Florida Turnpike, which terminates in Miami-Dade County. The true end is at the Golden Glades interchange with US 441, Interstate 95, State Road 9, and State Road 826. It's a mess, and we'll talk about it one day. There's a Homestead extension of the Turnpike that serves as a secondary bypass and serves the western and southern suburbs of the county. And then last but not least, State Road A1A is legendary Collins Avenue along the beaches. High rises and higher real estate prices can be found here. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps a bit. Just trying to get around Miami. Hope it's helpful for both visitors and residents. Sometimes Miami is just tricky to navigate. We didn't talk too much about Miami traffic, but just know that it is terrible. I'll address that in later videos, but I really just want to know what people think about what can be done about that. Whether you visit here, whether you live here, you commute in and out of Miami. What do you think about the traffic situation here? What can be done to fix it? Just leave a comment below. And then maybe you think that navigating Miami isn't too difficult, but there's got to be something about Miami traffic that you wish you could change? I just want to know what it is. Maybe I can make a video about it sometime. So thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all I got for now. So until next time, just navigate safely. Peace.